So thank you everyone. Welcome to the masterclass. It's 5:30 p.m. past on Saturday. So when we look back last week, we were reading from the book, The Courage to Be Happy. And what I'll try and do, let me see if I can get you the reflection from the last session, which is a good starting point for us for this session. So let's head to the last session. We go back to the last session for a recap. Yeah, last ranker. So there was this discussion last time on religion and philosophy. So in Courage to Be Happy, there's a challenge how you can be happy in today's world. And we are really analyzing what is Adlerian psychology. In that, we came across the concept that how do you differentiate between philosophy and religion? Yesterday, if some people attended the session which we hosted by Amardeep, it's there. Our YouTube channel is very simple. You can ask for My Good School. So you can channel, you can play the video. Like this video is on. So it's 5:30 p.m. Welcome to the masterclass YouTube channel. You go there, you can play this video. Or the youth A is distraught from the YouTube. Now, when you go to the YouTube channel, you can go to the homepage of the channel. From the homepage of the channel, you will get a whole library. In the library, you will see their playlists. So this is a playlist which is for the Saturday afternoon session. This is the playlist for Friday. Now, when you see the playlist for Friday, there's a very, very interesting talk, organic purpose in life's journey. And this is very much a talk relevant to every teacher and every learner, where Amardeep talks about how you can find a purpose in your life. And that's exactly what we are doing in this session. How do we find purpose in your life? This is the difficult part. Finding purpose in your life means you've actually struck gold. And if you've done that, you can do whatever you want, whether you want to become a teacher or you want to do anything else. So the chapter we are reading is Respect is Seeing a Person as He Is. What a profound statement. Respect is seeing a person as he is. This is a very profound statement. And a lot of us don't get to this statement so easily. It takes a while to accept a person because we are obsessed by our judgments, by our thoughts, our premonitions, and we try to see what we want to see. And this is the biggest challenge in life. I hope my co-host is here. Gurdeep, are you here?
Yes, sir, I'm here. Am I audible, sir?
Yeah, we need your audio and video. Let's start.
Sir, actually, sir, I don't know. I'm facing some network issues. Your voice is breaking. Am I audible?
Yeah, you are
Hello.
audible. You are having challenge
Okay.
from my side.
So it's better now. It was breaking up slightly at the start. Now it's fine.
Okay. So the chapter is Respect is Seeing a Person as He Is. Concretely, then, where should we begin? When education, coaching, and assistance adopt self reliance as their objective, where is the point of entry? To be sure, this may be an area of concern, but there are clear guidelines here. Gurdeep, over to you.
I'm all
I'm,
ears.
yeah.
I'm all ears.
There
Am I
is only
audible?
one
Hello.
answer, it is respect.
Yeah, I'm all ears. Respect.
Yes, no other point of entry is possible in education.
Another another surprising answer. Another surprising answer. So, in other words, what you are saying, hello,
Yeah, we can hear you, Gurdeep. Where are you stuck?
what you are what you are saying is respect your parents, respect your teachers, and respect your boss.
No, first of all, for example, in a class, you have respect for the children. Everything starts from there.
I do for these kids who can't be quiet and listen to someone for even 5 minutes.
Yes, it could be a relationship between parent and child or within a company organization, but it doesn't matter. In any kind of interpersonal relationship, it is the same. Initially, the parent respects the child and the boss respects his subordinates. The roles are such that the person standing on the teaching side has respect for the person standing on the being taught side. Without respect, no good interpersonal relationships can come about. And without good relations, one's word will not reach another. So the
You
youth
are
say,
saying you are saying I should respect each and every problem child.
yes, because at the root, it is respect for people. One's respect is not limited to specific others, but extends to other people of all kinds, from family and friends to unknown passerbys, and even to people in other countries, whom one will never meet as long as one lives.
Another lecture on morality, or else it's religion. Well, I have got to say, you are giving me a good opportunity. It's true that morality is included in curriculum in school education, that it has such a position. I concede that there are many people who believe in those values. But consider this, why is it even necessary to talk sense into children about morality? It's because children are immoral beings by nature, as are all humans. Heck, what's the respect for people anyway? Look, for both you and me, at the very depths of our souls, there are moralities.
Look, for both you and me, at the very depths of our souls, there drifts the repulsive, putrid stink of immorality. You preach on what is moral to immoral people. I am seeking morality. This truly is intervention, nothing else than force. The things you say are full of contradictions. I'll say it again. Your idealism will have no effect at all in an actual situation. And besides, how can you expect me to respect these problem children? So here is the youth having a dialogue with the philosopher on respect. And you have this often in your classroom. Why don't children respect teachers? And why don't teachers have respect for children? We come across this dilemma every day. And respect, if you ask me, can't be earned, it has to be practiced. Think about this. And it comes by practice, it comes by practicing and not preaching. That's the unique thing about respect. So we'll read on from here. Then the philosopher says, then I will say it again too. I am not preaching morality. And next, the other point is that, especially with people like you, I have to get you to know and to actually practice respect. Youth says, well, enough of that already. I don't want to hear empty theories that reek of religion. I'm asking you for concrete examples that are practicable tomorrow. Philosopher, what is respect? Here is a definition. Let's check what the definition of respect is. It's a very interesting one. Respect denotes the ability to see a person as he is, to be aware of his unique individuality. These are the words of social psychologist Eric Fromm, who moved from Germany to America to escape Nazi persecution around the same time as Adler. Youth asks, the ability to be aware of his unique individuality? The philosopher, yes. One sees that person who is irreplaceable and utterly unique in the world, just as he is. Moreover, from adds, respect means the concern that the other person should grow and as he is. How beautifully. Respect means the concern that the other person should grow and unfold as he is. Youth, I don't understand. The philosopher adds, not trying to change or manipulate the other person who is right there in front of you. Accepting that person as he is without setting any conditions. There is no greater respect than this, than on being accepted by another person as one is. One is likely to gain a great courage, and respect may also be regarded as the starting point of encouragement. So, we at some stage have discussed true love. And the main essence of true love is where there is acceptance. And when there is acceptance, the love will be strong. So, youth, no way. That is not the respect that I know. Respect is a kind of emotion akin to yearning, a sort of imploring that one can rise to the occasion. Philosopher, no, that is not respect, but fear, subordination, and faith. It is a state in which one fears power and authority and worships false images without seeing anything of the other person. Now we'll try and find out where this word respect came from. The Latin recipitio, which is the root of respect, has the connotation of seeing. So recipitio comes from seeing. First of all, one sees the person as he is. You have not seen anything yet, and neither have you tried to see. Place value on the person being that person without pushing your own value system on them. And further, assist in their growth or unfolding. That is precisely what respect is. In the attitude of trying to manipulate or correct another person, there is no respect whatsoever. A powerful message for our teachers. And yes, even for the young people. So look what it says, place value on the person being that person without pushing your own value system on them. And this for us as individuals, as role models, is a very difficult job. So youth goes on. So I accept them as they are. Will these problem children change? So they are problem children in the class. He says, should I accept them as it is? The philosopher says, that is not something you can control. Maybe they will change and maybe they will not. But as a result of your respect, each of the students will accept themselves for being who they are and regain the courage to be self reliant. There is no doubting this. Whether they use their regained courage is up to each student. So the youth says, so that's the separation of tasks. That's right. You can lead them to water, but you can't make them drink. No matter how gifted you are as an educator, there is no guarantee that they will change. But it is precisely because there is no such guarantee that one has unconditional respect. First, you have to start without seeing any conditions whatsoever. And regardless of what the anticipated results might be, it is you who takes the first step. I think it's a very powerful message for us as educators as to what is this first step. Why should we accept the child as it is? Anyone wishes to answer that? Naman, would you like to add something to this?
Sure, sir. I have a question, not something to add to the discussion yet.
Sure.
It did say that an expectation to change is akin to manipulating the other, right? However, we must, allow the other person to grow and unfold as they are. But this is a conundrum for me because isn't growth or unfolding itself a kind of change that we are expecting from the other person? Is that expectation also kind of imposing your will upon them?
Fantastic. So I often, mention here we handle young people in an internship program. I said most important element of an internship program is no expectation, no judgment. Now, if you have no expectation and no judgment, then you will positively find the positive element in what is happening. So I want to answer your question in a different spirit. Look at a flower bed. You plant many saplings in it. Many flowers come at different times. It may happen in 3, 4 weeks in the spring season. Every flower unfolds and every story is new. That is the message. And the beautiful part is every individual in your class is a different flower. You don't know where the sepals or where the flower will face. That is the hard reality. So we have this preconceived notion that every flower, like the sunflower, should face the sun. But the hard reality is that is not the truth. Because the flower is part of a very large ecosystem of air, water, and 100 other things, not just air and water, wind direction, the soil content. And when you see all these things condition and govern what is happening, actually you control nothing. So if you don't control anything, there's no reason why there should be this inculcation of respect or expectation. Naman, does that answer?
Yes, sir. Quite beautifully, sir.
So that's why I said very simply, you consider a classroom like a flower bed and see what happens after that. And I got this analogy from my garden, which I actually see every morning. And every morning we see how the flowers are unfolding. In fact, recently we grafted 3 saplings from a fig tree. And I've been watching every sapling growing. And I really respect the way the nature is playing its role in terms of nourishing the saplings. And that is the role a teacher has to do. You have to play your role. And when you play your role, you will get the respect you expect. You don't have
Yeah,
to.
So if I can ask a follow-up on that,
Sure.
so as a teacher, sometimes you get parched to see some positive outcomes from your efforts, and it's fair to say that not having these expectations is the right approach. But after a few years, you may feel like you need a hand down, right? कि कुछ बच्चों में या somewhere you've moved the needle for them. And if you don't see that, if you just give up your entire expectations and control, then maybe you lose your will to continue engaging with the students. Like, how do you avoid that kind of lack of motivation which this thought may breed?
Good. I think that's a very nice way of thinking. But remember one thing, teacher is the epitome of patience and perseverance. And if you were to say that someone's teaching is a reflection of the person's ability, you are wrong at that also. Because you are not to judge the teacher. Now, in this particular case, the teacher just does your duty. That's all you have in your hand. It's not up to you that it will change the child's perspective in any way, but you do your duty with heart and soul. So, similarly, I go back to my gardening analogy to bring a better,
Sorry. Yes, sorry to interrupt you.
yeah.
I would like to add something. Maybe that I sound some kind of bitter or kind of a rebel. But I have found so many teachers stating in the classroom that, I'm a teacher by chance, I'm a teacher by accident, and, I really did not like the subject I am teaching right now. So I don't think that the teachers must talk like that in the classroom because, the respect starts from self. So if we really do not respect ourselves, so how can we expect that the students will be looking with some kind of regard and respect to us? So I think the teachers must stop saying this in the class that I'm a teacher by chance. They must see that they must say that in place of that, yeah, I'm a teacher by kind of choice, and I really wanted to become a teacher. But yeah, this is my actually the perspective that I have analyzed. So please pardon me if I'm wrong somewhere.
Perfect. Every perspective is right. And that is how respect happens. Let's discover what the book says ahead because we want to read the book as much as we can. But I do appreciate what Shubham has brought in, what Naman has brought in, and Kabir put his hand up and put down. So we will get him in. So youth says, if I expect them as they are, will these problem children change? That's where we were. I'll repeat a little bit so that we haven't lost the context. That is nothing. Something can be controlled. Maybe they will change and maybe they will not. But as a result of your respect, each of the students will accept themselves for being who they are and regain the courage to be self reliant. There is no doubting this. Whether they use their regained courage is up to each student. So, what's the separation of tasks? That's right. You can lead them to the water, but you can't make them drink. No matter how gifted you are as an educator, there is no guarantee that what they will change. This is the challenge we will face always. There is no guarantee that what they will change. And that's where the whole story lies. And we read that, and then we went on to explain where the word respect comes from. And we even analyzed that respect comes from a Latin word. So Latin word is recipitio, the root for the respect. First of all, seeing. One sees the person as he is, and that is the key. You have to see the person as the person is. And minute you see that, you will feel better. You have not seen anything yet, and neither have you tried to see. Place value on the person being that person without pushing your own value system on them, and further assist in their growth or unfolding. That is precisely what respect is. In the attitude of trying to manipulate or reconnect another person, there is no respect whatsoever. This answers some of your questions. So if I accept them as they are, will this change problem? Will this problem change? That is not something you can control. Maybe they will change and maybe they will not. But as a result of your respect, each of the student will accept themselves for being who they are and regain the courage to be self-reliant. There is no doubting this. Whether they use their regained courage is up to each student. So I've read it apart to connect what you people have said. Let's move on. So that's the separation of tasks. That's right. You can lead them to water. So see what he does. He says you can't change things, but you can adapt. And if you look at a teacher is the most adaptable person in the world. And that's the beauty. And that's where I said, in a world, no matter how powerful one is, there are two things that cannot be forced: respect and love. For example, let's say the person at the top of a company organization is an authoritarian despot. The employees will follow the orders certainly, and they will probably display obedient behavior. But that is submission based on fear, without an iota of respect. You can shout, respect me. but none of them will comply. In their hearts, they will just grow more and more distant from him. Yes, I'm sure they will. On top of that, if no mutual respect exists, then there is no relationship as human beings either. An organization like that, just assembling groups of humans to function as its nuts and bolts and gears, it can carry out machine like labor, but no one else can do the human work. Youth. Okay, enough roundabout talk already. So basically, what you're saying is that I'm not respected by my student, and that's why the classroom gets out of control. Let's see what happens here. If there is fear, even for a short time, it is unlikely for there to be any respect. Naman, note this. If there is fear, even for a short time, it is unlikely for there to be any respect. It's only natural that the class will get out of control. You just stood by idly as it developed, and now you resort to authoritarian measures. You use power and you use fear to try to make them do your bidding. Maybe you can expect this to be effective for a while. Maybe you will feel relieved, and they really seem to be to you now. However, they are not hearing a single word that comes out of my mouth. Philosopher, that's right. The children are not obeying you. They're only submitting to authority. They do not entertain the slightest thought of understanding you. They just cover their ears and shut their eyes and wait for the storm of your rage to pass. Hey, you really hit the nail on the head. You fall into the vicious cycle because you fail to take the initial step of respecting the students yourself, of respecting them unconditionally. Youth. So, because I failed to take that step, there is nothing I can do that will get through to them. That's right. You have been shouting to an empty room. There is no way they can hear you. Okay, fine. I get that. There are still so many points I need to refute, but I'll accept this for the time being. Now, supposing that your approach is the right one, that relationships are built on the basis of respect, how then does one show respect anyway? You're not telling me to put a pleasant smile and say, hey, I respect you. Are you? Philosopher. Respect is not something that comes about with words. And whenever an adult tries to cozy up to them in such a way, the children quickly detect the lie or calculation. The moment they think this person is lying, respect isn't possible anymore. Youth. Okay, okay. You've hit the nail on the head again. But what are you suggesting I should do anyway? Because there's actually a major contradiction in the way you are talking about respect right now. Oh, what contradiction is that? Start from respect, the philosophers was saying, and that it is not only the foundation of education that is built through respect, but the base of all interpersonal relationships. Certainly, one doesn't pay much attention to the words of people one doesn't respect. There are aspects of the philosopher's arguments that the youth could agree with, but the argument that one had to respect all other people, that even the problem children in the classroom and the villains at large in society were all worthy of respect, that was something he opposed vehemently. But this guy has dug his own grave. He's made a contradiction that can't be overlooked. So, this is a job I have to do after all. I've got to bury this Socrates in his cave. The youth slowly licked his lips and then continued at full speed. So, youth feels that he is right. And it's not about love and respect. You can't everyone with respect, good guys and bad guys. But the philosopher feels you have to continue doing your work. It's not up to you to judge anyone as good guys and bad guys. So let's see. Have concern for other people's concerns. That's the second part. First was have respect. Now have concern. Don't you see? Earlier you said respect can never be forced. Sure. That is probably the case, that I can agree with you wholeheartedly. But then in the same breath, you tell me to respect the students. Haha, isn't it funny? You're trying to force me to do something that apparently can't be forced. If you don't call that a contradiction, then what is it? Philosopher. It is true that if you pick out just those statements on their own, they might sound contradictory. But look at it this way: respect is a ball that comes back to you only from the person to whom you pass it. Respect is a ball that comes back to you only from the person to whom you pass it. It's just like throwing a ball at a wall. If you throw it, it might come back to you, but nothing is going to happen if you just face the wall and shout, "Give me the ball." No way. I'm not going to let you get away with half baked metaphors. Give me a proper answer. If I'm the one throwing the ball of respect, where does it come from? The ball doesn't just come out from anywhere. All right, this is an important point about understanding the practicing Adlerian psychology. Do you recall the term social feeling? Of course, though I wouldn't say I understand it completely. So we'll try and figure out what is this social feeling. Yes, it's a rather difficult concept. Let's consider it more thoroughly another time. For the time being, though, I would like you to recall Adler's use of the term social interest when translating the original German term for social feeling into English. This social interest means our concern for society, or more simply, our concern for the other people who make up society. So it's different in original German. Yes, the German term is, can anyone read this German term? Gemeinschaftsgefühl, which combines Gemeinschaft meaning social relations or community with Gefühl sense, which I translate to social feeling. If one were to give it an English translation that is more faithful to the original German, one might call it community feeling or community sense. Well, I'm not particularly interested in such academic talk, but what is it? So we are trying to understand this concern for others. Think about it for a moment. Why then Adler introduced the idea of social feeling in the English speaking world? Did he choose social interest instead of social feeling, which is closer to the German? There is an important hidden motive here. Do you remember how I said what when Adler first put forward the concept of social feeling? During his Vienna period, many of his colleagues parted ways with him, that he was opposed and ostracized by people who said that such stuff wasn't science, and that he had introduced the problem of value into the otherwise scientific field of psychology. Yes, I remember that. It is likely that through this experience, Adler understood sufficiently well the difficulty of getting people to understand social feeling. So, when it came time to introduce the concept to the English speaking world, he replaced social feeling with behavioral guidelines that were based on actual practice. He replaced the abstract idea with something concrete, and these concrete behavioral guidelines may be summarized with the words concern for others. Behavioral guidelines? Yes. To get away from one's attachment to oneself and to have concern for other people. If one progresses in accordance with these guidelines, one arrives at a social feeling as a matter of course. Youth, I haven't the faintest idea what you are talking about now. Your argument has already become abstract again. The very idea of there being behavioral guidelines for having concern for people, speaking concretely, what should one do and how? So here goes the philosopher. Here, it would do well to recall the quote from Eric Fromm: respect means the concern that the other person should grow and unfold as he is. Go back to my flower analogy. The flower should open and unfold as the flower is. You just observe it, that's it. That's plain simple respect. Without negating anything or forcing anything, one accepts the values of the person as he is. In other words, one protects and one has concern for another person's dignity. Do you see where the concrete first step lies? Youth, nowhere. This is quite logical conclusion. It lies in having concern for other people's concern. So concern for other people's concern. Other people's concerns. For example, the children enjoy playing in a way that is completely beyond your understanding. They get absorbed with utterly inane childish toys. Sometimes they read books that are offensive to public order and morals and indulge in video games. You know what I'm referring to, yes? I see such things almost every day. Philosopher. There are many parents and educators who disapprove and try to give them things that are more useful or worthwhile. They advise against such activities, confiscate the books and toys, and allow the children only what has been determined to have value. The parent does this for the child's sake, of course. Even so, one must regard this as an act that is completely lacking in respect and that one increases the parent's distance from the child because it is negating the child's natural concerns. Okay, so I would recommend vulgar pastimes. One does not recommend anything from where one stands. One only has concern for the child's concern. Try to understand just how vulgar their pastimes are from your point of view and what they really are. First of all, try them yourself and even play together on occasion rather than simply playing with them. Enjoy the activity yourself. If you do, the children at last have the real feeling that they are being recognized and that they are not being treated as children and that they are being given respect as individual human beings. Let's go back to a primary classroom. How difficult a primary teacher or an early years teacher is to be with children day in and day out and to be with the children, to be like them, because that's the only way she can connect with them or he can connect with them. This is where the real respect lies, where the teacher respects every child as the child is. So youth asks ahead, but that's nor is this limited to children. It is the concrete first step of the respect that is sought in all interpersonal relationships. Whether in interpersonal relationship at one's workplace, in relationships between lovers, or in international relationships, or what you have, we need to have more concern for other people's concern. It's so relevant today, concern for other people's concern in this world where the decibel of insensitivity across geographies we see today. That's impossible. Maybe you aren't aware of this, but those children's concerns include things that are just too depraved, things that are indecent, grotesque, and offensive. Isn't it our role as adults to show them the right path? No, it is not. Regarding social feeling, Adler liked to use the following expression. What we need is seeing with the eyes of another, listening with the ears of another, and feeling with the heart of another. How beautiful. Seeing, listening, and feeling. Very much the spirit Shubham was telling us about. It's about seeing, listening, and feeling with the heart of another. Whew. Right now, you're trying to see with your own eyes, listen with your own ears, and feel with your own heart. That is why you refer to the children's concern using such words as depraved and offensive. The children do not think them as depraved. Then what are they seeing? One starts by understanding that first. No, I can't. That's just beyond me. Philosopher, why? We'll put a bookmark here and we'll answer that question as to why he can't do this. So that's the bookmark. I just grabbed it and I am going to add it in our masterclass WhatsApp conversation. So the bookmark has reached you. We will also add a date below it. Bookmark for next Saturday will be 28th, 28th Feb 2026. So the bookmark is added. I will in the bookmark also give you a simple reference to the YouTube channel, www.goodschools.net. Our YouTube channel is on the .net domain. It's very easy. To go to YouTube. So Good Schools Network, it's very simple, goodschools.net. That will help you reach the YouTube channel. Is there any question which is niggling anyone, which is troubling anyone? Anything you want to ask before we go? Shubham, your first session today. Did you get to read?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm really blessed that I have got this chance to be with you, and I'm really happy.
So you have no regrets coming here?
No, I don't have any regrets, sir.
Our idea is to have less of discussion, but more of reading, because
Yeah.
our way of meditation is reading. And reading, the way we do it with the screen and the sound, is very different from the reading you would do personally in a quiet mode. So that's the beauty. And I'm sure, I think you have to get one student from your school also, sure?
Yes, sir. Actually, I was not sure of the process. Otherwise, I have prepared one student for this. So I
Lovely.
was, yeah,
So you
she's
have
a
just
student from ninth class.
link, that's all. You can give the QR code of Masterclass. And
Okay,
Naman, would
okay.
you like to bring in someone to the masterclass as we are heading to Jaipur? We invited you in simply because we were heading to Jaipur.
I realize that, and you're quite gracious enough to let me bring another teacher also. We had a school picnic today, so the
Lovely.
teachers weren't spare. Uh, but definitely next time I'll get somebody to join in.
Yeah, whole
And
idea is they get used to by the time we reach Jaipur, so we
yeah,
know how these sessions fit in. What you see here is not wallpaper behind me, Naman. I think I mentioned that to you. So it's a set
yeah, it's your
like
office.
studio created, and we call it My Good School. So we host our sessions either from here or from the bookstore, which is on the ground floor. So the Fridays are hosted from the bookstore, but my sessions per se all happen here. So if we have a guest and if you have a visitor, then we do it from downstairs because people find that better. And then people come to meet people also. So that's
Yeah.
why those sessions are in a social setting. So they're recorded, they are live cast. And yes, it serves as a meet and greet for the people who come by.